I'm here at Fully Charged, and we're all talking about electric vehicles, but we're also talking about other important things, like in the house where everybody needs to go from the gas to electricity and have a heat pump. And I'm talking here with Thomas Nowak, and he's from the EHPA, the European Heat Pump Association. Yes, there is an association of heat pump manufacturers, and I want to talk to you about the trends which you see in the market. Yesterday I went to the biggest exhibition in the Netherlands, and it was completely full. Everybody had so much interest. Nobody had any supply anymore. Everybody had 6 months, 12 months year waiting. It seems to explode. Where are we in the heat pump market?
I think we are at the beginning of exponential growth. We expect exponential growth for the next 10 years. That is unprecedented. It has never been done before, so it's really a challenge. But if we want to achieve the energy and climate targets that Europe has set itself and that the member states have subscribed to, including the Netherlands, then this is essential. We have to arrive at around 30 million heat pumps in 2030.
30 million heat pumps a year?
No.
Total installed? Because we have at the moment, we have in Holland have 7 million houses, and 0.1% has now a heat pump. And it's everybody's now talking about hybrid and full heat pump, but we need to get those 7 million houses into away from the gas. And then, of course, in Europe, we have about 400 million houses, and then we have offices. So I can imagine we need 30 million of these heat pumps.
Let's put the numbers into perspective. In Europe, we have around 115 to 120 million buildings that are used for residential purposes and offices. Okay. And nobody knows exactly because the data situation is not very good. Okay. We are selling at the moment 2.1 million heat pumps per year. Yeah. We hope to be able to add about 20%, maybe 25% this year. So we would end at end of 2022 at 2.5 million units. The total European heater market is around 6 to 7 million units. So we are about 30% as we speak. We aim to arrive at about 30% heat pumps in the total heater market. If we want to decarbonize all these buildings, of course, we have to move much faster. The European Commission has proposed that we should focus on hydronic heat pumps first, and they set forth targets where they say hydronic heat pumps means water-based, so you have radiators or floor heating. And they say this is the best replacement for fossil energy, so we should focus there, and we should have about 10 million units of these in 2026 and 30 million in 2030. We think that air source heat pumps also have an important replacement opportunity because they are used in office buildings, sometimes also in residential buildings, and they are sold as we speak. So if the same growth rate is applied, then we would end up at nearly 60 million heat pumps altogether in 2030, and then 75, 80, 90 million in 2050. So pretty much 75% of the whole heating sector would be heat pump based in 2050. And that is appropriate and possible. But of course, it means all hands on deck. It means that installers stop installing fossil technology and start with at least hybrid heat pumps immediately, that manufacturers are replacing their manufacturing lines and focus on heat pumps and hybrid solutions as we speak.
Yeah. So hybrid is that you can do 70-80% less gas, and then and if it's very cold, the old CV system starts to kick in, and that's what we see here as in the Netherlands as an important in between. Do you think it's just an in between, or do you think it's also a final situation?
Well, let's clarify the term. Hybrid means, first of all, you have two solutions. So it can either be a heat pump plus direct electric boiler. It can be a heat pump and a biomass kettle. It can be a heat pump and a gas boiler. It can be a heat pump and an oil boiler. What we see is that if you choose a hybrid, you should choose a hybrid that has a high share of heat pump coverage. And you just mentioned 80%. I think that's about right. So 80% of the energy should come from the heat pump, 20% then the coldest days, in other words, from gas. Yeah. But this makes only sense if you think that gas will stay cheap and affordable for a while. And I talked to a few of people that came here and they said, no, but it's no longer the case. No. So in that case, I would say let's...
In the Netherlands, it's now, if you have a new contract, it's €2 per cubic meter. I mean, how much is it in Germany?
150, I think. It's 50.
Yeah, but I mean, it's everywhere. It's huge, and it has increased dramatically.
Here is that the electricity price has gone up and the gas price has gone up even more. So now we are in a situation in most European countries where you save money on the operations costs of the heat pump, which of course you can use to afford the extra investment. But you ask, would I do that? I think with these uncertain times of pricing, I would choose a complete like a mono-energetic heat pump that is only using electricity, has a direct resistance heater in the water storage tank, and then you can use electricity flexibly, because I expect as a trend that flexibility will be given more value. So if you heat your house at noon on a cold day in January, where there is a lot of wind blowing and the sun is shining, you can do this rather cheaply. And of course, we all have a difficulty when it's overcast and there is no wind.
Yeah.
But I think the number of days where this is the case is comparatively limited. So then you will have expensive heating. Nonetheless, it will be efficient, but it will be expensive. But in all other days where renewable energy from electricity and wind is abundant, you will save money.
Yeah. So, okay, those are the numbers. We need to get there, and all the manufacturers at the moment should stop producing CVs, and it should be very undesirable to install them. Which countries are ahead in terms of regulation? You have European, they're starting, but if you look at the countries where the market is the biggest, which one are that?
Oh, these are different questions again. The French market is the biggest. The Italian market is following that, and then Germany recently, because of really a very, very proactive subsidy policy and the introduction of a CO2 price. Mm-hmm. But now also the Netherlands, with the announcement of hybrid systems in 2026, is very, very fast forward. And Germany has introduced a requirement for 65% renewable energy in each heater exchange after 2024.
For new cars or for new houses?
Every heater exchange, you have to fulfill the requirement of 65% renewables, and that's
all the old buildings.
Yes.
By
1st of January 2024.
That is crazy.
Yeah, but you need ambition. It is possible. Another number that is interesting in this context is we have 900,000 heater systems are replaced in Germany as we speak per year by 50,000 installer companies about. So that means 18 heating installations per year per installer company. I guess we agree both that they can do a bit more.
Yeah.
But of course they are also installing bathrooms and kitchens. So maybe we have to forego the investment in these comfort installations and do a little bit more in heating. And then of course we also have to train more installers to install heat pumps, because also only a fraction of these is installing heat pump systems. But of course we need, and it's a good career, we need more people, young people and people that need retraining to become heating installers, maybe specific heat pump installers. But we shouldn't forget that once you touch the house and you do something with electric heating, you should also look at the roof and at the garage to put photovoltaics and maybe a battery and a charging station next to each other. Yeah. So in my opinion,
everybody is looking for people. I mean, I went to Munich last week, and there was the big solar exhibition. And also the same stories. We're sold out for the next 6, 12, 18 months. And it's impossible to find hands enough to put the things on the roof. So how are we going to attract lots of people to come to this business? Do you have a country which is already busy with that?
There's a number of countries that offer training sessions. So in France, for example, you need to be certified. The company needs to be certified. They have to have one technical expert in each company, and these are trained. They have a program called QualiPack. In Germany, they have a VDI, like a technical prescription how to do the training, and the industry is training their own staff. But I think in the end, it's a market economy.
Yeah.
So if
higher salaries.
Well, that's what's happening. Yeah. If you start your education in HVAC installation, you will get more money now. Okay. And of course, if this is attractive, then there will be more people going into that. But
it takes a couple of years. Or already, do you see it going? Do you see it accelerating?
If you are an established installer, you can be trained in 1 week. to be a heat pump installer. If you don't want to be a designer, if you just want to fix the material to the wall and fix the pipes, I think it can be done in 3 months. If you know a little bit, you don't have two left hands, then you can do this in 3 months. Then you're not a designer, then you're not somebody that runs the business, but you can do the necessary steps that it takes to get the kit into the house. And that will have to happen. These type of mass deployment.
How many people do you need to fulfill this European ambition to flow into the business?
Maybe double of today.
And how many people are working in this HVAC? Double.
Just looking at the numbers that we have to install, then a heat pump takes more time than a gas boiler. So in principle, I would say we could replace the total heat pump installer trade and upskill them to heat pump installers. That would give us capacity of about 60-70% of today's market. So instead of 6 to 7 million, you have about 5 million or close to that. Okay, now you have to build up. That takes you, depending on where you are, 2.5 to 4 years. From beginning to becoming a full-fledged heat pump engineer, they call them in the UK, or installer. And that's why I think this interim is so important, to have mass education of people that are skilled fitters, I would call them, not installers, but fitters that bring the kit into the houses.
Interesting challenge. Hey, who are the big players in this field, and where do they come from?
It's spread across Europe, so it's really big European brand names. If I start with the heat pump companies, it would be Niebuhr and Stiebel Eltron, but also Bosch, Viessmann and Weiland, BDR Thermea here, Groupe Atlantique, Daikin, Weiland didn't say, Weiland also, Daikin, Mitsubishi, and in Italy, Ferroli.
Dutch one, Remea?
Remea, but that's BDR for me. So it's BDR Thermea, they're all together, yes.
That's true. So those are the big players. Are they prepared, and are they able to scale up?
I think if they don't, they risk their future. So it's not a question if they are prepared, it's the question of what happens if they are not prepared. And I know that everybody is investing a lot of time and brain capacity and money recently into this field. You see multi-million euro investments announced pretty much every week at the moment.
You need hundreds of millions of investment. What about the Asian manufacturers?
Well, they would first of all reject that they are Asian. We have, for example, Daikin has a very strong foothold in Europe. They have factories in Belgium and in Czech Republic. Mitsubishi has a factory in
not so much Japanese, but are the Chinese already playing a big role on this in this field?
They're coming, yes. They see the opportunity. I mean, there is an opportunity.
They know how to scale.
And they have factories, yes. They are preparing themselves. And
so is there already a name you can mention saying that one is coming?
No.
Okay,
there is names, but I don't want to name them.
Oh, you don't want to name them? Okay, fine. The governments, are they really into it? Are they? I mean, the Dutch government woke up and basically came up with some subsidizing. How is that? You said Italy is very active. Germany is active now. How is the Norwegians? Because their heat pumps are completely normal.
But Norwegians are the heat pump champions. They don't need any advice anymore. They know how to do this. The Norwegians are really the hidden champions in Europe. If we talk about heat pumps deployed per 1,000 households, it's Norway that wins.
How many? Do you know the percentage of the amount of homes in Norway which have a heat pump?
It's dominant. Maybe all. I don't even know what else would they have.
I think Sweden, I heard, was the same thing. It's interesting. We in the Netherlands produce 12 tons of CO2 a year. That's about a little bit more than the average. In Sweden, 4 ton. 3 times less than the Netherlands. So because and it's colder, but they're much more used to this kind of stuff.
It's an energy efficiency technology that must be very clear. Sometimes people come to me and they say, "Yeah, but it's more expensive." But we need to disconnect that. The energy efficiency is one thing, and the heat pumps will always be more energy efficient than a gas boiler or any other type of fossil fuel. When it's too expensive, it's the result of legislation. It's the result of taxing electricity higher than fossil energy, and that has to change. It's changing at the moment, and we see, of course, with the price changes also, this argument is getting less and less and less important.
Exciting time for the industry.
Absolutely. You wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
So yeah, electric driving is cool, solar is cool, but electric heat pumps are also very cool. Thank you very much for the update.
Thank you very much for that.